Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you guys a double Jhook trace. It's a type of trace we'll be using to target sharks like ragged-tooth sharks, Zambesis, blackfin sharks, and instead of using a circle hook, we're going to use two double Jhooks. We're going to start off with our steel trace, anything from 120 to 200 depending on what size sharks you're going to target. I've got 150 pound here, so we measure our piece approximately 1.3 to 1.4 meters, and then we're going to cut it. After cutting our wire, we grab our two Jhooks. I'm just going to use two 8/0s for the purpose of this exercise. To start off, we're going to attach our first hook to our steel trace, and that's a simple loop knot over the shank of the hook. Put your wire in through the top of your hook, then leave some wire for your bottom hook, and then we're just going to wind our steel trace over the hook, back through, and that's how we're going to attach our first hook. Alright, so very simple loop knot. Grab your hook like that, take this tag end, wrap around the hook shank once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, and then from the bottom through, and pull it tight. You get a bit of a kink, and there you go, your front hook's attached. Simple as that. Right, so our front hook's attached now. This little tag end is where you're going to attach the next hook. You determine your spacing between the hooks by the size of bait you want to build. Obviously, if it's a smaller bait like a red eye or sardine, you'll go closer, and then your bigger baits, mackerel, bonnie, yellowtail, you'll just increase the space between the hooks. So you adjust your hooks to the size of your bait. What I like to do, especially on this, when we're putting a mackerel head bait onto this, is one hook facing up and one hook facing down. It just helps with hook set when the fish feeds. If he comes from the bottom, you've got a hook that can grab him. If he feeds from the top, you've got another hook that can grab him. Just increases your strike rate a little bit. Right, so what we've got to do now is attach our back hook. Very simple knot, the figure of 8. Push your tag in through the eye of the hook, and then just a simple figure of 8 knot. Once, twice through the back, then through the back end of the loops. Get your figure of 8, and I'll take the pliers. Pull it down, and then you just want to lock your knot. And after we've tightened our knot, we cut off our tag end, and the hooks are attached. Alright, so step 1's done. Spacing is correct. One hook showing up, one hook showing down. And now we're going to continue to put on our crimp. The reason I'm putting a crimp on is to make a semi-slide trace. The purpose of the semi-slide trace, especially in fishing braid, is to remove some of the directness when you're getting a bite. Often if you've got a fixed sinker and the fish starts feeding on your bait and he feels the resistance, he'll leave the bait. By us making a semi-slide trace, there's a bit of leeway, so if the fish picks up your bait and he starts pulling a little bit, you won't feel that much resistance and you won't drop the bait. So you get that little crimp, and we slide it over our steel trace, pull it down, and you determine how long you want your trace. I like my trace section up to the crimp to be about 1/2 meter. So I've measured approximately 1/2 meter, and we're going to take our pliers and squeeze the crimp onto our steel. There we go, our crimp's attached to our steel trace, and now the next step is to put on a little sliding swivel. Obviously your sinker will be attached to that swivel, and the way I do is very simple. I take a little 3-way swivel, and I've got 3 little beads. 3 little beads in between the swivel to assist it sliding up and down, and that also prevents the steel trace from kinking when there's a bit of pressure on the steel. So we start off by putting on the first bead. Then I grab my little swivel, I put that on, another bead, then we take one leg of the swivel, put that through like that, and our last bead on top. As I said, the purpose of these little beads is to help your steel from not getting pigtailed or kinked when there's pressure on your steel from your sinker line. Alright, so we take all of this, slide it down to a stopper, a little crimp we put on. Obviously it'll prevent your sinker line from going past towards your hooks, and we leave that there. The next step is the last step, and that's just to attach a top power swivel to the steel, and then obviously from this swivel you'll be going onto your braid leader, which goes to your reel. Alright, so our last part of the trace is to attach our power swivel to the end of the trace, and once again I just like to use a simple figure of 8 knot. 2 loops over the back of the wire, and then feeding it back through the back end. Take our pliers and I tighten the knot. After I've tightened it, and I slip it down to the swivel, pull it nice and tight, grab our pliers, cut off the tag end, there we go, our swivel's attached and the trace is complete. We've got approximately half a meter down, we've got our sliding swivel, that's where we're going to attach our sinker line, your little stopper, your crimp, another half a meter further, we've got our first hook, and then our spacing between the hooks depending on the size of our bait, and the next hook showing in the opposite direction. So very simple trace, but very effective, and it works well for us, for especially sharks and non-edible fish.